Appleblossom the Possum by Holly Goldberg Sloan. Chapter 34. Antonio and Amlet are relieved that Mama knows an easier way down than the metal stairs. It turns out there is a drain pipe that runs along the side of the tall structure. It isn't affixed directly to the wall, and so it's easy to squeeze a possum body between the bricks and the pipe, meaning there is no way to fall. Big Poss snorts at the idea of using this and takes the stairs anyway. Maybe, Amlet says to Antonio, his belly is too big to fit. The trip back to their old neighborhood is so much shorter than the time it took to get to the city. It's always quicker when you know where you're going, Antonio whispers to Amlet. Before they realize it, they are outside the house where Appleblossom fell down the chimney. The four possums gather together behind a bush and stare up at the imposing structure. Mama Possum's nose twitches and she shuts her eyes. She seems to be thinking hard. Antonio and Amlet stay quiet, but Big Poss balls his hands into fists, strikes a pose, and shouts, "By heaven, I will tear them joint by joint and strew this hungry yard with their limbs. The time and my intents are savage, wild, and more fierce." Mama Possum manages a look in his direction. Romeo and Juliet, Act 5, Scene 3. Now sit down. Big Poss takes a bow and returns to a crouch. Mama Possum focuses on the house. They have a dog. I see a red ball and I smell the monster. This is a very dangerous situation. Big Poss stares out at the grassy yard and uncurls his tightly clenched fists. A dog? Well, that's a different situation. We've got no chance against a dog. Mama Possum's nostrils flare and her eyes grow hard. It's not a nice look, but it seems to change Big Poss's mind, because he says, "New idea. We enter down the chimney and hope for the best. Or we send out one of our little ones here inside as a scout to report out the situation." Antonio and Amlet edge closer to their mother. That sounds like an awful plan. Fortunately, Mama Possum agrees. The way in is from the ground. Houses have air vents. We go in under the structure, and we go in together. Big Poss turns to Antonio and Amlet. The secret to a good relationship is to listen to your wife, and agree with her whenever possumly possible. He then spins around to give Mama Possum a smile, but she's already moving. It turns out that the house has several openings just above the ground level. They are covered by metal wire. Mama points at a vent and says, "They call this their crawl space, but don't worry, they almost never go down under their houses to crawl. They just want to be able to. It's not clear why." Antonio has a thought. Monsters crawl when they are young. Maybe they maintain a romantic attachment to the idea. Mama Possum raises an eyebrow of reflection, and then issues a command. "Big Poss, use your teeth to chew through the wire." Big Poss makes a "why me" face, but Mama Possum speaks again before he can object. "Your teeth are already a disaster." Big Poss grunts, but places his snout alongside the wire. He angles his head so that his jaw can get a good grip on the mesh. He then snaps his teeth and starts to work. The grinding makes an awful sound, and Antonio and Amlet have to put their fingers in their ears. But it doesn't take long before their father has gnawed a hole in the metal weave. From there, Mama Possum and Big Poss bend back the wires. There is now an opening. Mama manages to squeeze in. Antonio and Amlet follow, and then Big Poss tries to enter. He doesn't fit. Mama issues instructions. "Go back out and help your father." So Antonio and Amlet return outside. They push on Big Poss's backside while Mama Possum pulls his arms. It takes a lot of effort, but Big Poss finally makes it through the opening. They are all four now inside the monster's house. Under other circumstances, the crawl space might be a place for thrills, but right now, it's creepy. The first thing they all see is a rat skeleton covered in layers of dusty cobwebs. Overhead is a maze of pipes and wires. Mama Possum leads the way. She keeps her nose low to the ground and uses her tail to swish away the spider webs as she travels. The air is stale in a way that suggests mildew and mold have found the perfect home. Big Poss is the first to say it. "This place stinks. And I don't mean stinks like garbage or a pile of rotten leaves. I mean stinks like monsters." Amlet slows. He thinks about turning around and leaving. He's just about ready to shout, I'll wait for you outside, when it's too late. They have gone too far, and he's more afraid to go back by himself than he is to follow his family. What a predicament! After a series of twists and turns, Mama Possum finds what she's searching for. Okay, this is it. Big Possum, Antonio, and Amlet gather around. Mama Possum stares up at a large pipe that disappears into the low ceiling. This goes to the monster's heat box, and the heat box has long tunnels that lead around the house. We get to the heat box, then Big Poss will use his teeth to rip open one of the tunnels, and then we'll travel through the tunnels to find Appleblossom. Big Poss turns to his two sons. How does she know these things? But he isn't asking a question. He's making a comment, and he sounds impressed. Big Poss follows Mama Possum's instructions, and it isn't long before the wood is chipped around the pipe. Minutes later, just as Mama Possum said, they are inside a tunnel and moving through the walls of the house. Stay tuned for Appleblossom the Possum, Chapter 35.